So we're here at Emirates Stadium again, and as you can see, Storm Dara is doing its work here. It's a very, very unpleasant day, very, very windy, lots and lots of rain, and I think that's clearly going to have some kind of bearing on the game, particularly I think for Aston Villa, who really, really like to get balls into the box to Gabby Nunez and Rachel Daly in particular. I think Aston Villa will try to use that. We'll see a lot of early wide delivery, but 30,000 expected here today, and I think what that really illustrates, given that there's a perfect overlap with the men's match at Fulham, is that actually what clubs can do when they actually invest and promote their women's teams is actually draw on an entire new audience who perhaps don't even support the men's team, rather not interested in it, because 30,000 people here, I can tell you probably a lot of those people, as you can see there, the wind, probably not that interested in the men's game. And what Arsenal have done brilliantly, what they've probably discovered, is that there's just a whole new market, a whole new audience who perhaps for whatever reason have felt excluded by men's football. They're going to come here today and watch the women's team, 30,000 people. But big game for Arsenal as well, against Aston Villa, looking to continue their really good form under Renee Slegers, and Renee Slegers will stay in charge until the new year at least. And I do wonder whether Arsenal are just kind of extending things. What I'm told is very much that Arsenal really comfortable with the job she's doing, and that's perhaps created less urgency around a permanent appointment. But I do wonder if they're just going to let it go a little bit more, just to kind of size up whether they want Renee Slegers as the permanent manager. And I think really in this block, that Bayern Munich game at Meadow Park, that's going to be the first really, really big team that Arsenal are going to play under Renee Slegers. And I just wonder if they're just going to look at this block, look at that game, and just think whether they think they've already got the right person for the job. But aside from all that, Arsenal have got a job to do here today against Aston Villa to get 3 more WSL points, and I think really start looking at reeling in Manchester City in second place. So it's kick-off here at Emirates Stadium, Arsenal versus Aston Villa. Slight surprise in the lineup, Kim Little dropped out, told that's just a precaution, a bit of muscle tightness, but really interesting what Arsenal have done in midfield. They're going to partner Mariana with Kyra Cooney-Cross, who's in because Leah Volti's unavailable as well. So new midfield partnership, very interesting. They've chosen to drop Mariana into the deeper role and keep Frida Mornham in that forward line as the number 10. So we'll see how that goes. Plenty of ball retention, plenty of technical ability there, which is probably a good replacement for Kim, to be fair. Let's see how it goes. So that's Arsenal 1, Aston Villa here at the Emirates, and it's Alessia Russo heading in. Kyra Cooney-Cross's free kick. Arsenal have looked a little bit dangerous on set pieces actually, which, I mean, I sound surprised, don't I? So a minute ago they had... A minute ago they had another delivery from Kyra Cooney-Cross out wide actually, which kind of came to Caitlin Ford and it caught her by surprise a little bit, but this time she's lofted it in. Alessia Russo's met it with her head. I don't think Sabrina D'Angelo will want to look at it again. Kind of bounces over her to go into the net, but one of the things Kyra Cooney-Cross brings to the team actually is that set piece delivery. We've seen it a couple of times today and it's paid off here. Arsenal 1, Villa 0. So we're halfway through the first half here. Arsenal 1, Aston Villa 0, and Arsenal looking good. Certainly when they loop the ball over the top of the Villa defence, Villa kind of struggling a little bit to defend those channels, and when Arsenal go long over the top, which is what they've done here, and created another chance, and Villa look very vulnerable in those channels. Not when Arsenal pass on the floor, but they've got a very high line, Villa, and Arsenal are just going over the top of it. And just a second ago, Frida Mornham went for her own goal. She stopped because she thought she was offside, but she'd started her run from inside her own half, so she wasn't. Had she been aware of that, I think it would have been 2-0 to Arsenal, because I think she would have gone and put the ball away, but she slammed the brakes because she was expecting to see the flag. But Arsenal getting on top here quite nicely. Arsenal 1, Villa 0. 2-0 Arsenal. Beth Mead on the score sheet here, as she usually is at Emirates Stadium. Once again, Arsenal working those channels pretty nicely. Some nice one-touch passing, and we just see Mariana pop up with a lovely ball into the channel, and Caitlin Ford is in, and she puts in actually it's a ball from Mariana, and Caitlin Ford puts a really nice low cross in, which Frida Mornham slides and connects with, hits the inside of the post, and Beth Mead's there on the back post to put it in. 2-0, and that's reflective of the game so far, and I think Arsenal would really have wanted that second goal before half-time. So it's 2-0 to Arsenal here at half-time. Arsenal in complete control of the game. And I guess one of the questions around Renee Slegers so far, well, not Renee personally, but around her spell in charge so far, is that the team's been there's been a lot of continuity, not a lot of changes, not a lot of players have needed to come out. So, you know, how does the manager deal with losing that continuity, which is inevitably going to happen? And today, without Kim Little and Leah Volti, who've been mainstays of the team for the last 6 years, and Kyra Cooney-Cross and Mariona coming into midfield, but Arsenal haven't missed a beat here really, and Aston Villa just look pretty vulnerable every time Arsenal come forward. I don't think they can cope with the physical threats of Frida Mornham and Alessia Russo dropping deep and taking the ball, and out wide Beth Mead and Emily Fox on the right and Caitlin Ford on the left, causing all sorts of problems, getting that to that byline again and again, getting those low crosses in. And Arsenal have looked dangerous from set pieces as well, with Kyra Cooney-Cross in the team, and that's something she really adds. We see it for the Matildas a lot, how good she is on her free kick and corner delivery, and we've seen that a couple of times today. It's where the first goal comes from, with a cross for Alessia Russo, and then for the second goal Arsenal do Villa in the channels again. And Arsenal always look for those areas, they always look for those wide overloads, but I think there's been a special kind of focus on them today, and Arsenal fully in control here, 2-0 up, could arguably be more actually. Okay, second half is underway here. Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 0. Just the one change at half-time. Lotte Wubben-Moy on for Emily Fox. I hope that's just a pragmatic decision, given the amount of football Emily's played this season. She started every single game so far this season, so hopefully that's not an injury, because she was amazing in the first half, as she usually is, just as Arsenal create another chance behind me, which hopefully means that the second half will continue in the vein the first half did, because Arsenal were utterly dominant and they'll be looking to continue that here. So halfway through the second half here, still Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 0. Big improvement from Villa in this half, it's fair to say. They're contesting and winning the duels a lot better, far fewer transitions in Arsenal's favour, but bringing Emily Fox off at half-time, and that's necessitated a bit of a reshift, with Katie McCabe going to right back, and I just feel without Fox there, with McCabe moving, without Little and Volti there, Arsenal perhaps predictably just looking a bit unbalanced. That's just 4 areas where they've got kind of different players or different things, and it's kind of showing a bit more in this half. Arsenal have had the ball in the net through Alessia Russo, was ruled out for offside, but slower half this time round. And that's 3-0 Arsenal. As I was saying, it was maybe a little bit sleepier this half, maybe some players playing a little bit out, well, not so much out of position, but things changed around. Katie McCabe playing right back in this half picks out wonderful through ball to Stina Blackstenius in the area, and irony of ironies, when Arsenal have had a lot of offsides in the game, Stina's onside, she hooks the ball into the net. And they announced before the game, you know, she had her 100th appearance last month against Juventus, and she scored 45 goals in that time, and considering she doesn't start most games, that's a fantastic return, and exactly what you'd expect from Stina Blackstenius, in behind the defence. Katie McCabe with the ball from right back, 3-0 Arsenal. And that's 4-0 Arsenal. Alessia Russo with an absolute cracker to seal this. Lena Hurtig doing some really good work on the left again. Arsenal getting in down the sides again with another low cross across the box, and it looked like Paula Thomas had it, looked like she was about to clear it, and Russo muscled her way back in on the touchline, turned and smashed it into the top corner with her left foot. Amazing finish, and really put the seal on the game here, and I think 4-0's really reflected as the final whistle goes behind it. Full time here at Emirates Stadium, Arsenal 4, Aston Villa 0. Really good day at the office for Arsenal today. You know, maybe some questions around what happens for a Renee team when they have to make some changes, where they don't have that continuity. They had to change that double pivot in midfield, went with Kyra Cooney-Cross and Mariona today to replace Kim Little and Leah Volti, and all looked very natural, and they were able to dominate the game against Villa. Maybe the first 15-20 minutes of the second half, when Arsenal brought Emily Fox off at half-time and put Katie McCabe to right back, and they moved a few things around out of necessity, and it probably unbalanced them a little bit. Villa came back into the game, but then Stina Blackstenius scores to make it 3-0 from the bench. I think that killed Villa off completely at that stage. And then Arsenal switch Katie McKay back to left back, and it starts looking a little bit more natural again. But, you know, really emphatic victory, emphatic performance, and another big tick in the box, it has to be said, for Renee Slegers, because, you know, maybe one of the questions people had was how nice has this run been? There haven't really been any injuries or unavailabilities, and there were today. They played a decent team today at home, and they've just beaten them 4-0, essentially in third gear, to be honest with you, and some of those substitutions really making a difference, and Alessia Russo as well with 2 goals, that really showing her kind of quality and her confidence at the moment. Very different goals, header from a set piece, and the second one is just an outstanding finish, and really great to see her really hitting the stride, really hitting some goal scoring form. When Russo scores now, you don't really think about it, it's almost second nature, like you expect it. But this was exactly the sort of game Arsenal needed as well. They've got Champions League game away at Vålerenga in Oslo at midweek, so being able to take a few players off, rest a few legs ahead of that, also very valuable. Good day at the office here for Arsenal. It's 4-0.